I was inspired to write Ricochet by watching old black and white film noir movies. I was always a fan of that genre. So I always wanted to do a book that had a similar mood. The perfect setting for that kind of story was Savannah, Georgia. I've spent a lot of time in the city, and it just kind of lends itself to that mystery. In Ricochet, my hero, the main protagonist, is a hard-boiled detective for the police department. He's a man with a lot of integrity, and he becomes involved with a district judge's wife upon investigating a killing in their home. The heroine is very much like the heroine in the old film noir movies. She's kind of a mysterious blonde with a past and very untrustworthy. As always with Ricochet, I started with the main idea but didn't really know where it was going to go until I put the characters into place. And my procedure for writing is to take the initial idea and just to keep massaging it until a story takes form. It's sometimes hard to get it to take that shape. It's sort of like working a combination lock, and all of the tumblers have to line up until it opens up, and then there's your story, there's your book. At least that's the way it works for me. Once I had the central character of Duncan, who is the detective, and I knew that the woman of the story was going to be this kind of shady lady with a past, then it came down to where are they going to meet, what's the central conflict going to be. Oh, it's a killing at her home. Okay, who did the killing? And then I just kind of have to work backward from there, but all the time knowing basically where the story's going to go. However, the fun for me is not knowing exactly how I'm going to get to the end of the story. It's fun for me to come to work every day and wait to see what's going to happen. So I try to put the characters into place and then let them take the story to its logical conclusion. Ricochet is very much a story of moral dilemma because you have this detective who has his sworn duty is getting the bad guys. And he's noted for that. He's noted for his integrity on the force. And even when other policemen have compromised themselves by not playing by the rules or by getting in trouble of one way or another by not performing ethically, Duncan has been very vocal in his criticism of them. So now he finds himself in a situation where he wants to believe this woman because he's attracted to her. But there are so many reasons why this is forbidden. First of all, she's the principal in a case that he's investigating. Secondly, she's married. And for both of these reasons, they're very strong and compelling reasons why she is forbidden to him. And yet, he feels that not all is what it seems, and he cannot fight this overwhelming attraction. And also the sense that there's more to her than she's revealing, and that very possibly she's telling the truth when everything points to the fact that she's telling lies. So he's very torn throughout the whole book, and as much as this being a page-turner based on the action and the plot twist and the murder and mayhem, it's also a real psychological journey for Duncan, the main character. Ideas come to me in various ways, and for each book there's a story as to how that story was developed. I think the fundamental thing for me about writing is to tell a story. And the reason I enjoy doing that so well is because I enjoy stories myself. So my main criteria for an idea and for the book that it becomes is this: am I entertained? I have to be having a good time, or I know that my reader won't be having a good time. If I'm not compelled to finish, if I'm not intrigued by the characters, If I'm not interested in what's going to happen to them and how they're going to get themselves out of this jam, then I have to think that my reader's not going to be either. So I'm my first reader. I'm my first critic. And I like to be drawn into the story with the same level of engagement that I want my readers to be drawn into the story.